I got back to my room, and I turned on Bill Maher's show, or actually I just turned on the TV, and there he was. And I like Bill Maher. I like the show. I sometimes agree with him, sometimes don't, but I always have that thing where you go, okay, this guy's good, and you have to do that. I mean, you have to go, I hate when people go, I disagree with this guy, he sucks. That's incorrect. Rush Limbaugh's not bad, you disagree with him. He's actually good. You just disagree with him. But don't confuse that with bad.
Put them together, yeah.
Yeah, sushi's not bad. You don't like sushi, but there is such a thing as bad sushi. That'll make you sick. So let's not call this good sushi bad sushi. Let's call you a person that doesn't eat sushi or doesn't like sushi or doesn't like people who eat sushi.
Brilliant.
Thank you. So now I'm hungry.
Now I'm thinking of bad sushi.
Bill Maher, I disagree with, 2/3 of the time, but I love his candor, and he's just, he's great at his job. He's just good at it. And I was watching him. He had his panel on, and I just turned it on, and he had Tavis Smiley next to him, and actually in front of him. And Tavis Smiley's a dick. I mean, he's a fucking jackass. I remember, I don't know, he was on a show once, or someone was a guest on his show, and he talked about, like, Islamic terrorists, and he's like, hey, don't kid yourself. There's killing in the name of Christianity going on in this country every day. And they're not called terrorists. But don't. So I just thought, yeah, Dick, that's why I'm waiting in this huge line at the airport, because there's a bunch of Christians that are out of control, running amok. That's why I'm fucking taking my shoes off, my belt off, pulling my pants out, down and up around my ankles, because of the Christian terrorist problem in this country. And they'll point out like Tim McVeigh or something like that. Like, oh, yes, I understand. It happens. But we're talking about a bigger problem here. And so he does this bullshit thing that it's sort of a cloaked, I hate this country, which is every time someone tries to bring up a problem, and by the way, the only way you can fix a problem is to identify it, call it a problem, admit it's a problem. I mean, whether it's, hair loss, alcoholism, or terrorists, you have to sort of go, okay, it's a problem, and then you have to go after it or do something about it.
Was hair loss and alcoholism directed at Brian and me?
I did, but I looked at you for hair loss, and I looked at Brian for alcoholism.
Those are our radio names. We're going morning show. Yeah. Mornings of hair loss and alcoholism.
Yeah.
That's when it is the most pronounced.
Hey, everybody, back sack and ass crack, but they've been moved to drive time. But I want you to meet hair loss and alcoholism.
Hick.
So, sorry. So I'm just thinking, what a dick. I hate this guy. And I know he's like one of these guys. He thinks he's a fucking patriot because he's asking all the right questions and making us think. And isn't that what this country's about? But then I just realized he's just a dick and he hates this country. And at a certain point, Bill Maher gets on this, hey, the terrorists or these countries, they got to start treating their ladies a little better. And guess what?
You said that.
Of course. Oh, Bill and I might share the same brain because it was the same bank account. Because everyone, my whole career has come up and said to me, Bill Maher ripped off your thing on his show again, like that thing you do with the crows or the whatever. So
he did crows?
No, he did the crows, but whatever he did. And they would tell me that all the time, and I never accused him of stealing it. I just thought, we're kind of wired the same way. But yes, he did a thing that said, these people got to start treating their ladies a little better. And guess what? Tavis had to explain that we don't treat our ladies very well either. Let's listen. And I fucking hate this kind of debating. Let's listen.
And I don't know. We do not know the details of what happened there, but I think it's fair to say Muslim men have a bad attitude about women in general. And I would just like to say to them that you're never going to have this revolution happen unless there is also a sexual revolution that goes with it.
There you go.
Really, Tavis? You have a Muslim men don't have a problem with women?
Well, I'm not going to argue that. And let me just say up front. I agree with you.
I was going to cut your head off.
No.
But it was still my friend.
Better my head than what Kevin.
All right.
How about a penis that Kevin Smith?
I was going to say that, first of all, that obviously what happened to Lara Logan is reprehensible. Horrific. We can't find a language to describe what happened to her. But having said that,
sure.
If our democracy bill, if our readiness for democracy in this country is based upon, determined by, demonstrated by our respect for women, then we ain't ready for democracy in this country.
Great point. Put on pause for a second. What are they talking about? You fucking nuts. Do you love that? The guy just makes a blanket statement like, hey, Muslim men, stop backhanding your bitches, which they're known for. And if someone's got I disagree, Bill, and let's shine the light on this country. Right. And he's going to go on and make this fucking argument where it's like, even if we're 2% and they're 92%, we're still just as bad. And it's like, no, we're not. Because there's something called stealing a bag of chips, and then there's arson, and then there's murder. Do you know what I mean? There's crimes, there's degrees. It's all over the place.
I feel like that was just blatant lady ass kissing on Tavis Smiley's part.
Yeah.
That said, very effective.
Very effective. Yeah.
I love that said.
Yeah.
Not big as it may.
That's it. There. That's it.
That being said.
All right, yeah. All right, well, let's keep it rolling. Let's see how this goes.
Serious? You think this country, the men in this country, have an attitude that even comes close to what...
I'm suggesting to you, if you think that the way we treat women in this country, with patriarchy still alive and well, sexism still alive and well, is determinative or demonstrative of how well our democracy works. I think you don't understand how maltreated women are still then in this society.
Blacks can make up their own language. All right, hold on a second. He's telling us to wake up and smell the coffee. What's going on in this country? Really? By the way, Tavis, amongst a couple of guys you grew up with, perhaps, but this nation as a general? No. And stop doing that bullshit. It's that same fucking thing that comes along every year with Martin Luther King Day or whatever. It's like, hey, we've come a long way, but do not kid yourself. We got a long, long way to go. No, you don't. You got a little way to go. Not that far. And most of it's on you. It's not. We got a long bullshit. Compared to who? Compared to what other nation? It's the same bullshit.
That said,
we got a long way to go.
That said, but still. Also, Tavis Smiley looks nothing like what I expected. And I don't know what I expected, but I just know that name. And then I was like, that's who goes with that name?
It. Not smiling nearly enough.
No, he's pointing out how poorly we treat our bitches. Well, he
looks nothing like Guy Smiley on Sesame Street.
I remember when your dad came backstage. We're in the green room after the show. He was informing me for the first time that I was funny.
He actually said you're amazing, but I think it's interesting that you remember what he said is you're funny.
He was great. No, I thought it was great because I saw that he meant it. But then I remember your mom piped up and your dad just backhanded her. Just right there, and she held her head that direction, which meant she knew it was coming.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And that was in front of me, so I don't know what...
The minute he lifted his hand, she flinched. Yeah. And after all the years that he's been beating her, you'd think that she would get over the flinch, but you don't really get over it.
You don't. No.
I mean, I know that.
It's like when you try to get rid of your gag reflex. You just can't do it.
I can power through.
Yes, and.
But no, every now and then it comes up.
I mean, but yeah.
That said,
but still,
your dad in the pinstripe suit just fucking open a can of whoop ass on your mom almost every night.
It goes with the suit.
Yeah, it's like the movie Casino.
You have to if you're going to wear a suit like that.
Only when he puts the suit on.
Let's hear the rest of Tavis's awesome argument.
You have no perspective.
I'm saying you have no perspective.
No. Go ahead.
If you look at the history of the United States, I would say that actually democracy leads to better attitudes toward women because when the United States was founded, of course, women couldn't vote.
Right.
African Americans couldn't vote, and we got there eventually. So I think you've got it reversed.
No, I don't.
By the way, people are arguing with Bill on this point.
In Egypt, women, if you want to divorce your husband, you have to go to court. If a man wants to divorce his wife, he just has to say that what they call the triple talaq or something. I divorce thee, I divorce thee, I divorce thee. That must happen like on the first fight. It must be so...
I've been trying to have 12 years of marriage.
Right,
don't work, man. Don't work.
In Saudi Arabia, women cannot drive a car, sail a boat, fly a plane, which is why their tampon ads are just horseback riding.
Tavis got to jump in. Bill, that's it at the end of the day.
I do believe. People have a right to self-determination. You're saying that they shouldn't have... How does a continuation of strongman rule lead to better attitudes towards women?
Why is this cunt arguing with Bill on this point?
Because she's got a mouth.
Right.
The women are sort of already there.
Something.
You have to bring along the men, and I know this is anecdotal, but, talk to women who've ever dated an Arab man. The reviews are not good.
Thank you.
They have a sense of entitlement.
You must understand, my friend.
We put women on a
Sounds like Jim Hill.
He didn't even say anything controversial. That's what's killing me.
Every man I've ever dated has a sense of entitlement. I don't know.
Have you ever dated?
Stop it for a second. Bitch, why are you backing this? He made a statement that every human being that's been on this planet more than 6 months, I think, understands basically that the Arab dudes need to treat the women just a little bit better. It's not that anecdotal. It's on the books.
You haven't walked in their shoes.
Yeah,
I think she's doing the thing.
Who are you to judge? They come from an entirely different.
She was doing the thing that she's super liberal and he's super black, and he's making a point about this country being crappy or as crappy as another nation. And anytime you're really liberal and someone's making the case that this country's kind of crappy, or don't judge these other nations because it's that sort of thing where you go. Somebody goes, hey, man, we got to do something in Mexico with all these drug wars going on. And then some other guy goes, yeah, who do you think's buying those drugs? That's right, the rich kids in Orange County. And that's what's fueling it. And then you got to jump in. Somehow everything's a mirror that just deflects. It's a fucking handball court where everything just gets bounced right back at you. And so she's confused because on one hand, he's saying treat the bitches better. And the cunt's got a cunt. So she's like, that's me. But on the other hand, it's coming from the mouth of a black guy, and he's talking about how crappy this country is. So I do want to kind of side with him.
But she's doing the thing people do in arguments, which is she's digging in on principle. Like she's...
on nothing.
She's just holding her position and digging her heels in.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Tavis really goes over the fucking edge here. Let's listen to this.
Middle Eastern man?
Yeah.
Okay.
All I'm saying respectfully is, and I don't disagree with the fact that they've got a long way to go. What I'm trying to suggest to you is that when we have these conversations about how they treat women, as if somehow we treat women better in this country.
We do.
It demonizes Muslim. It demonizes.
No, it's not demonizing. That's saying that I'm prejudiced. I'm saying I'm not prejudiced.
As if we do.
Prejudging. I'm not prejudging. I'm judging.
Can we?
I'm judging.
Can we all agree?
They're worse.
Hold on one second. Hold it for a second. There's fucking 4 people. I feel like one guy is having an argument, and this happens to me, and has happened to me my entire career. There's one guy who's sane, who's having an argument with a nut job about the sky being blue, and he's going, the sky is blue, and the other guy's going, no, it's not. It's the color of a Skittles packet. And then the other 3 assholes are just sitting there silently the entire time. Not a fucking... And then the one bitch jumps in and goes, I think it is kind of skittly. Like, nobody wants to fucking jump in and go, hey, he's right. Now you got the fucking third guy in the panel going, Bill, you have to understand. Really? He makes a statement that says our men treat our women better than their men treat their women. And Tav's like, yeah, I disagree. This guy hosted a fucking show for 10 years.
And what is he expecting? That actually the whole conversation is going to turn into how we treat our women poorly?
Well, that's the whole thing. We can't just demonize other people. We got to find a mirror. So we constantly have to find a mirror. We have to constantly look at ourselves. And again, never claim to be perfect, but let's face it. If they treated their women like we treated our women, their women would be a fuck of a lot happier.
Right.
I can tell you that right now. But here's where Tavis really goes over the fucking edge.
Cultural relativist. It's not relative. Yes, it is relative.
Are you Republicans?
No.
I don't think there's any worse. I don't think there's a worse version of sexism. It's either right or it's wrong. It's acceptable or it's unacceptable. You're trying to shade this thing.
Yeah, let me give you 2 examples of how it might be worse. We talked about this a couple of years ago, but it was in the paper last week.
Bill,
a man in Buffalo, very successful man, a Muslim man named Mazamal Hassan. He ran a TV network in Buffalo aimed mostly at countering Muslim stereotypes. He cut his wife's head off.
Bill, I disagree.
Got mad at her and cut his wife's head off.
At the end of the day, I disagree with
just
that.
Last week, got 15 years to life. Boy, 15 years you get for cutting your wife's head off. That's a pretty good deal.
I got to say, I want to talk about Lorena Bobbitt cutting off her husband's penis, and that,
hey, that's my territory.
Nice point, John.
I'll do the dick jokes here.
There are wasps who dismember.
All right, good.
All these things are horrible, but are you saying they shouldn't be able to have democracy?
No, I'm not. Oh, I'm not. I want them to have democracy. I'm
hold
just
on a second.
Point
10 minutes ago, a guy who's a world-class misogynist brings up the point that maybe these guys over here in these Arab countries should treat their old ladies a little bit better, and the entire cast of women and progressive guys turn on him? Like,
I think they misunderstood his point.
Well,
because she clearly did. If she's saying, you say they can't have democracy until they change how they treat their women, which is, he's not like laying down an edict.
Well, first off, people don't listen. But secondly, they're looking to argue.
Right.
And then I don't even know what they're talking about, but I do know that I'm sitting next to a brother who is disagreeing with this super white guy, and I'm going to we're just joining forces. They're all just sitting in a row. I mean, what were the chances the other two would join in with Tavis on this retarded dirge he's going on? All right, let's just listen, because Tavis is going to really go. He's going off the rails here in a second.
Attitudes about women. That has to come with this, or it's never going to happen.
Bill, I disagree. Oh.
This is where there's a heckler.
Dad, shut up!
Someone in the audience is screaming about Hellfire missiles. By the way, some of the worst bouncers in the world.
Yeah, really. They let it go on the whole time.
Well, they shouldn't have mic'd the guy up.
That went better in rehearsal, I gotta say.
All right, here's where Tavis is good. You can still hear the guy. He's in his car now.
You and Tavis squabbled.
Now, here's where Tavis really crosses the line.
Has that ever happened?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it does. Okay.
I once had to go into that crowd and throw a guy out myself.
Still hear the
I might
guy.
have to do it again.
Yeah.
It sounds like a prepared speech. That's all I'm saying is that, an ad lib would have been a little more impressive.
Such a real time.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith plugging his movie, wearing his hockey jersey.
That's what happens when you guys...
And by the way, had nothing to do with what we were saying.
No.
I mean, yes, obviously, that's another issue which we could debate. I might even be on the man's side about how much we should be having drone attacks against Afghans.
I think respectfully, Bill, that notwithstanding, I think that it might surprise us to go into our papers in this country every day. And to see stories just like this of how women are maltreated in this country every single day.
And bullshit.
Thank you. Shut up.
There's a 1 in 3 rape statistic in this country.
1 in 3.
But don't you think things have gotten better? I mean, just go watch Mad Men.
Hold on a second.
So much better.
I like flip-flopping. Kevin Smith even joined in at a certain point. The entire Beal, especially disagree. Outburst not contained. Bill, you open the papers. I like when people do that. As if we're all just going to open the paper and we'll not. Well, you know what? Rape-free Mondays. I guess no one's ever been right. You open the paper. You see discounts.
Rape-free Monday.
You see discounts of crime, of rape, of abuse, of women's, of all colors and all genders. Okay, Bill. Respectfully, on Texas, is what I'm saying. Okay, you will see that in this country. You also see murders, criminal murders, dead murders, deceasedness, performed in the name of the Catholic Church. Okay, so I responsibly reply that before we look overseas for our problems, perhaps we find a mirror right here in these United States. Thank you. Okay, thanks. He makes a valid fucking point. It's such a valid point because it could be somebody. A guy could punch a chick in Minnesota, in which case everything Bill said about Muslim men would be null and void. He's right, but here's where Tavis really goes off.
I mean, in this country, we treat women badly because they don't get equal pay, or someone calls you sugar tits, or something like that. In those countries,
you think that's okay?
That's okay, Bill.
But I don't think it's comparable to cutting their heads off, not letting them drive, not letting them work.
Yeah, I dispassionately disagree.
and all I'm saying is we missed the point. If what you want to do is to compare, you win that argument.
Oh, okay.
But my point is it's not about comparing. It's about either right or wrong, how we treat people. And I think it's wrong there and it's wrong here.
It's more wrong there.
So better. So much better than we are.
Degree matters.
Here it comes.
Yes.
Malcolm X said, if you put a knife in my back, 9 inches and you pull it out 6, you call that progress. I still got a knife in my back. I don't necessarily believe that degree always
Shut the fuck up. And I'd like to round up everyone in the audience that applauded
that. What would you
that.
rather do, make 80 cents on the dollar or have your head cut off?
I would rather us stop acting like that we know the answers to everything, that we're always right, that our way is always better.
All right. I'm going to vomit all over his face. I'd like to put my knife in his ass.
How many inches?
We treat women.
All right, you can stop it. Thank you.
Who was applauding for Tavis Smiley?
Well, here's the problem. When the guy says, when the great Marta XYZ said, you put a knife 9 inches in my back. You pulled out 3 inches. You call that progress. That great Marta. Yeah, listen. If I said, listen. If Tavis Smiley said, it's like the great Malcolm X once said, let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day, he was shooting at some foods. And up from the ground came bubbling crudes. Oil, that is. Black gold. Texas tea. What are you going to do? The black guy's quoting Malcolm X. There's got to be 8 people. They got the coexist bumper sticker on their fucking Prius. Like,
They want to clap.
All right, so people like to clap. When people
clapping is fun when people
fans
talk.
of clapping.
Yes, Brian.
Oh, God, I got to get a cadence going. Woo! So Tavis, what a douche.
Yeah.
So glad the fucking guy's off TV. And, again, just a fucking, this whole deal, and it's why we can't get anything done. And I'm serious, which is to say,
Tavis.
Every time somebody, it's Tavis's fault. No, every time somebody says, hey, you got a serious problem with drinking, and they go, I saw you drink some NyQuil last summer, and you're like, I was sick. And they're like, let's talk about your drinking. It's like, you had a beer when we went to the USC-UCLA game. I don't have 5 DUIs. Well, you don't have 5 yet. Like, we're now missing the entire point of this intervention.
Ass-kiss rodeo. Everything someone says, you have to turn the mirror back on us.
It's fucking ridiculous, Tavis. No, it's not even close. I don't know what the percentages are. It's not even close. The way we live in this patriarchal society with all this oppression of women. Really? I know it's your move, by the way. I know it's your race move. That could you just remove women and put blacks in there and you'd have the same retarded argument? Probably worse. I mean, most fucking relationships that I'm aware of, the women are dragging the guys around by the short hairs, but no, you're fucking nuts. It's nothing like that. And you can say, hey, we could do a little better over here, but then let's focus on the problem. And Bill's right. They get their shit together in that department. That gene is the gene you don't want to deal with. I guarantee you, show me a country that treats, here's what it is, treats their women right, treats their dogs right, and doesn't attempt to fuck their kids when they're drunk, and I'll give you a country that does not cause trouble.
Are you saying that we don't do all those things?
I respectfully disagree.
You open the papers every day, Adam.
Every day. All right.
First of all, what's a paper?
I don't know. I guess get one of them computer boxes.